When it comes to Google search ads, headlines are probably the most important element of all. They will determine your click-through rate, they will determine how many sales and leads you're getting. But many people don't know, first of all, how many headlines you need and also how to actually write them. So in today's video, I want to kind of focus on the first question while also giving some notes on the second, because we here at Cartlift, we manage $1 million ad budgets and we do a lot of search ads for our clients. So without any further ado, let's discuss how many headlines you actually need and how to determine how many you should use for your search campaign. So here you can see a demo account of mine, and basically as a little recap, you can have a total of 15 headlines in your search ad campaigns and a total of 4 descriptions. And when you listen to Google, basically what they're saying is you should use the maximum wherever possible, right? Like whenever you can, use 15 headlines, use 4 descriptions, and then Google will rotate them and you will get the best performance possible, so to speak. However, there is one thing that is not actually clear when it comes to that recommendation, and that is how do you actually make sure that the tests that you're running give you the best possible results, right? Because if you have 15 headlines and 4 descriptions, if you think about it, unless you have gigantic budgets, you will need to rotate them for a very, very long time to actually find out what the best performer here is. And especially if you do the following thing, just like most people who run search ads, right? Basically, they go ahead and they say, buy my product, or let's say you were buying, I don't know, let's say you were buying dining room tables, right? You would say something like buy dining room tables, and then like dining room tables online, and then like shop dining room tables. That's like a super simplistic, let's just remove the pins right here. That's like a super simplistic approach that many brands are following and many PPC managers are following, where the headlines, first of all, they're not that unique. And then second of all, they use a ton of them. So just as I said, Google has this recommendation of 15 headlines, but the problem is with all the rotation going on, it will take a very long time to get statistically significant results that way. So the first question that you have to answer is, what is the budget and the complexity of your account like? So if you intend to spend, for example, at least a couple $100 per day on that specific search ad right there, okay? I'm not talking about the campaign, I'm not talking about the account, I'm talking literally about that search ad. So if you have one campaign, one ad group, one ad, and a budget of like $300 per day, then it will be $300, of course, on that ad. If that is the case, yes, you can kind of get away with a lot of headlines, right? $300 per day is not a crazy budget, but it's a decent budget for just one responsive search ad. And in such a case, yes, you can get basically use all those 15 headlines and all those 4 descriptions, and then look into your asset details to understand how you're actually doing and whether you should remove one and then place another one in and just rotate so that you get the optimum performance. If you have a budget that amounts more to something like $50 a day, $100 a day on one ad, then it will already take a very long time. So that is already the region where I would say probably try something like 6 to 10 headlines. And if you are below that number, right, if you're literally spending 10, 20, $30 a day, or you have like so many different products that you are testing, and each of those ads is getting little ad spend, but the total ad spend is very high, again, you should also focus more on like fewer headlines. But let's discuss actually, why this is so important and especially what to put in there. So way more important than the number of headlines is how many unique headlines you can actually create. So with this example right here with the dining room table, there is literally no point in having those 3 variations. Now, there are people who claim that you should test everything, right? Every nuance, every word. Chances are that this will perform, I don't know, 3% better than that. In my opinion, that's pretty much nonsense, because what we're going for here is we try to find out what gives us the most, like the biggest performance gain by an actual noticeable margin. I don't care whether a headline performs 0.5% better than the other in a testing phase that is 2 weeks or whatever it might be. I basically want to see which headline gives me twice the click-through rate of the other, or 40% more conversion rate because apparently it pre-qualifies people better, right? So if you're just doing this kind of very, very nuanced little changes kind of thing, then chances are that you have a very small sort of path and very little wiggle room to really excel at something and have something that performs a lot better. So with the dining room table, you might, for example, say something like, if it's a wooden, let's say dark wood dining table. And then you can say something like, I don't know, upgrade your living room. Made for 6 to 8 or, for 8 people or something like that. Ultra durable wooden table. And it's pretty, from the top of my head, not really excellent copywriting, but you get the idea. You want to highlight a bunch of different both features as well as possibly also benefits, as well as having like transactional headlines, as I call them, right? So something like 180 days money back guarantee. Something like pay in 4 easy installments. Something like, free shipping and returns. So if you have one very long responsive search ad with a lot of headlines, then make sure that you cover everything, right? From the features, from why they should buy, from transactional kinds of things. Remember, if someone is searching for a product and they are already in the final sort of comparison phase, so to speak, then those transactional things can be pretty interesting, right? If I already made up my mind that I want to buy a certain product and you tell me all the way up again, let's say supplements is a good example here because it's a very functional product. Let's say, for example, someone is searching for the best price or something like vitamin D best supplement or something, right? Very, very in the very last stage, so to speak. Maybe even talking about the exact specifics of it, like vitamin D 2000 international units, where to buy, extreme example. And you come up all the way again with why vitamin D is good. If you think about it, that's not the right way to go about it, right? Just as if someone knows exactly what type of dining room table they want to buy. Let's say they type in something like buy black dining room table online or something. And you start like literally at the very beginning, why dining room tables, what makes them look great or whatever else it might be, or talk about why the color is so cool. Really make it about, depending on what keywords you're targeting, right? If they're ultra transactional and super specific, of course, highlight these transactional points and make your store stand out. Of course, you should still cover these main keywords that people are actually searching for. But don't do like everything. On the other hand, if there is a search query that is more top of funnel, right? Something like just dining room table, for example, or maybe even just table, whatever it might be, you can also do things like, 10,000 plus tables in stock, or something like dining room tables, kitchen tables. That's probably too long now, and something like office desks, right? That's too long, but you get the idea. Multiple things. Of course, you can also put this in 2 headlines, or you can put it in the description as well. So you have to think about, okay, where are they in the stage, in the funnel? And based on that, you write the ad copy, rather than having this one-size-fits-all approach where regardless of what they type in, you always have like the same 15 headlines that you always try to fill because you heard somewhere that having 15 headlines and having 4 descriptions is always the way to go. So in a nutshell, use fewer headlines if you don't have the budget. Use fewer headlines if your product is so simple that you cannot at all think about 15 creative headlines that are unique. Because if they're not unique, don't count headlines by purely the amount of headlines, but by the number of at least somewhat unique angles. And in that regard, those 3 here, in my opinion, would just be one headline. Second headline, third, fourth, fifth, 6, those are unique angles that you have right there. And with that approach, I can tell you that you will get results faster, that you will better understand how an ad is actually performing, that you can then launch a second variation and get better performance from that, and so on and so forth. And that is how you will ultimately upgrade your search ads. And whenever we apply this to our 6, 7, and 8-figure e-com clients spending all the way up to about 250,000 per month on Google, we see that this performs way better than having this endless rotation of numerous headlines. Speaking of 6, 7, and 8-figure e-commerce brands, if you are an e-com brand owner and you're stuck with Google, your meta ads are scaling like crazy, but Google kind of lags behind, you don't manage to spend more than whatever, 10, 20, 50K per month or what it might be, then make sure to check the link in the description where you can learn more about our framework, about our case studies, and book an Ignite demo with us where I will tell you very specifically what I think is possible with your brand based on case studies and about $35 to $40 million in total ad spend on our end so far. You will leave that call with a super actionable game plan. It won't be one of these salesy sales meetings, but you will know exactly what's possible. You will have a game plan, and then we can discuss whether you want to implement that with us or not. So with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and please subscribe for more Google Ads and performance marketing content for e-commerce. And with that being said, I really look forward to see you in the next video again. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.